Hello, welcome to Mobilize Your Data. This is a recording of the session I did this week at the Tableau conference. I wanted to have it online for those of you who couldn't make it in person. So thanks for joining now. Today I'll be covering a topic I'm quite fond of, which are dashboards for mobile devices. Here's what we'll go through: data access on the go, user experience, 5 examples of mobile dashboards, and a quick tutorial on how to create interactive elements in Tableau. I'll also be sharing starter templates to get you going with mobile dashboards. My name is Dorian Bănuțoiu. I'm the CEO of Canonicalized. It's a data analytics company based in Romania. Among other things, we develop Tableau dashboards for clients. Now, before we get started, I'd like to do a quick imagination exercise. Can you try to picture a manager or an executive having lunch or commuting or at a sports event? He or she remembers they need to check up an important number, but they don't have their laptop handy. What do you think happens next? Is it A, waits until he or she gets back to their computer? Or B, calls or emails the BI person to give them the number? I know you're thinking B. Or is there a better way? I believe there is. A mobile dashboard can be a solution to this problem. And even more. During this session, I'd like to show you why I believe in option C. Number 1, data access. With Tableau, we can access dashboards on mobile devices in a couple of different ways, either by using the Tableau mobile app or by logging into a mobile browser. There's also Tableau Pulse, which is fully optimized for mobile devices. It can be accessed in both ways. Now, all of these options share a thing in common. They all require various degrees of effort to be implemented. But like Henry Ford used to say, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got, which sometimes is the email from the manager. Mobile dashboards come with challenges, but also with great opportunities. Challenges include interface limitations, connectivity issues, the screens are small, the thumbs are big. The number 1 opportunity is data access. People can go into Tableau Mobile and check their dashboards at any time. But there's also a more subtle advantage I'd like to explore, which is focus. With mobile dashboards, we're bound to show the data one piece at a time. We don't have the full screen of a computer to stuff with charts and tables. So if we're smart about it, we can minimize redundancy, we can reduce the use of crosstabs, and show the most important stuff to our users. Let's talk a bit about user experience. First, we need a solid process for requirements gathering. To create a dashboard that does the job, we need to understand the needs, preferences, and expectations of dashboard users. This is a quote from Stephen Few's book, Information Dashboard Design. Here's the template I normally use. Before starting an editing dashboard, we need to collect all of these details. Now, if the end users are open to having the dashboard accessible on mobile devices via the web, then we can move forward with our use case. Let's assume that they are interested. Users will want both simplicity and power at the same time. I know, I'm just as shocked as you are. It's up to the dashboard designer to find the balance between the two needs and to manage expectations. Here are my 4 key tips for when designing a mobile dashboard. Focus on the important KPIs. Use negative space. Reveal information only when the user needs it. This is an important one for me. And wireframe or sketch before you viz. Here's a wireframe, a sketch I did for a client project. It's nothing more than a basic representation of the initial dashboard draft. I want to talk a bit about progressive disclosure. It's a design technique we notice on apps or websites that are easy to use, even enjoyable. We can't really put our finger on this concept. We know the experience is delightful, but we're not quite sure why. One of those reasons is progressive disclosure. The basic idea is to push advanced or rarely used features to a secondary screen. Simple as that. It improves 3 out of the 5 components of usability, which are learnability, efficiency of use, and it reduces errors. Pretty cool. Let's see some of these ideas in action. I want to showcase real life examples and some tips and tricks. In the first example, I want to show you how I optimized a simple Tableau dashboard. It was initially designed for desktop devices, and I optimized it for mobile ones. I recorded my screen, so I'll play it for you. The normal way to start is by going to phone and removing the tiny log next to it. From here, we can start optimizing our design. I sped up the process to give you an idea of how it looks. Here I split the KPIs into 3 different sheets to make them work on mobile. I also consolidated the filters in a show height container just for mobile devices. The end result is a mobile compatible dashboard. We also call this a desktop first approach. So I want to show you a browser I normally use to test. It's called Blisk, and you can have a look at the website, for example, my dashboard from Tableau Public, and preview it in both on mobile and on desktop at the same time. So you can check the differences and play with it. This is a show height container, which is only available on mobile devices. On desktop, everything stays the same. I'll move back to the presentation now. So there's actually a different way to go about it. We can design our dashboards for mobile devices from the start. This slide shows the difference between desktop first and mobile first approaches. Here's a mobile first example. It relies on swipe gestures to reveal content. You'll see in the recording here. It's nothing more than sheets fit to the height of the containers. I call this the conversation starter because I posted it on social media and I got 2 people to buy into the mobile first concept. So an advantage to posting on social media. This next example is a fun project created by a colleague of mine. It's so sleek, it blew me away when I first saw it. I want to highlight 2 features that I believe make it great. First is a button switcher that changes from Celsius degrees to Fahrenheit degrees. Clicking on it will convert the temperatures. Also, the daily forecast acts as a button. Clicking on a day will show the weather conditions for that specific date. Now I can assure you that my colleague Alex, I'm pretty sure he doesn't know what progressive disclosure is. But here he managed to leverage it like a pro designer. There's a link at the bottom of the slide if you want to check the dashboard. I encourage you to give Alex a follow. He does great work. This is a dashboard I created for real world fake data, a social project by Mark Bradburn. It focuses on a single metric, which is spend. I added some charts below to set the context for the monthly expenses. I'm trying to answer whether these went up or down and why. At the bottom I have some additional breakdowns. Instead of having 3 bar charts, one under the other, I created a button that changes the breakdown. In this case, when clicking on expense type, we'll show the breakdown by expense type. In the demo section, I'll show you how you can create such a button in Tableau. Last example, an actual client dashboard. This one came to fruition after they saw my post on social media with the scrollable KPIs. I asked the BI lead of the company what was his motivation behind this project. He answered he wants to stop emailing PDF reports, or at least send fewer of those. So this dashboard is mobile only. They didn't need a desktop version for it. I did the prototyping in Figma. Initially, I had some charts for each of the KPIs. They said they wanted more numbers instead of charts, so I've done my best to make them fit nicely. I've also deferred the non-essential information to secondary screens. This landing page holds all of the important information for the business. So with that, I'll move on to the demo section. I want to show you how you can create a button switcher in Tableau. I use it all the time and I believe it makes a ton of difference in terms of UI. So I'll switch over to Tableau, where I already prepared the dynamic bar chart. So this one changes the breakdown based on a parameter. You can see here the different breakdowns. This is the dimension formula I'm using. Nothing more than a case statement based on the parameter. So now I need a sheet that mimics a button switcher. For this, I created a separate data source. You can do this in multiple ways, but this is what I found easier. I created this simple table in a spreadsheet. It's a 1 column and 3 rows of data. So I'll show you how you can build the buttons. First I'll drag switcher to columns and then I'll duplicate it on the label. I need to draw a mock axis here, so I'll type in min of 1. Tableau already creates a bar chart for me. I'll fix the axis from 0 to 1 and center align the labels. From here I'm hiding the headers and I have my buttons. At this point I want to highlight which option is selected in my breakdown. So for this I need a calculated field. I'll create one and call it button color, where I'm checking if breakdown is equal to switcher. This is the formula that we need. I'll drag it on color. So now I have ship mode highlighted. I'll create a dashboard where I'll add the buttons and the breakdown. So if I change the breakdown to category, you can see it highlights the category. Now to make it interactive, we need a dashboard action. In this case, a parameter action. So I'll go to dashboard, actions, and from here I'll add the parameter action, change parameter. It needs to run on the button sheet, the breakdown as target parameter, switcher as the source field. These two stay the same. I'll click OK. OK. Now if I click on segment, notice that it changes the breakdown to segment. Ship mode, the same. Now if you pay close attention, there's a highlight effect in here which kind of bothers me. So let me show you how you can get rid of that. I'll go back to the sheet and create two calculated fields. One called true with the value true, and another one called false with the value false. I'll drag these both on detail. I'll go back to the dashboard now. Here I need to add another action. This time it needs to be a filter action. So add action, filter action. From here I need to choose buttons as the source sheet and the actual buttons sheet as a target sheet. The selected fields are true and false. Clearing the selections will show all values, and it needs to run unselected. I'll click OK. OK, and now if I click on ship mode, there's no more highlight. Very cool. From here we can play around with it, format it, do our thing. Now I'll move over back to the presentation. So before we call it a day, I want to share a set of starter templates with you. You can find them on my Tableau public using this link or QR code. I'll have the link in the description. You'll find more ways to display data on mobile devices, and also custom interactivity based on progressive disclosure. Basically, everything you need to get started with mobile friendly dashboards or mobile first dashboards. So, thank you for your time, and I hope you find this useful. Bye.